For this video, we'll be showing you how to make two different types of holograms using a bare photopolymer.
The two types of holograms are called reflection holograms and transmission holograms.
Holograms are recorded by interfering two beams on a photosensitive material. For a reflection hologram, the reference beam passes through the photofilm and reflects off the object to interfere with the reference beam at the film. When reconstructing the hologram, the reference beam reflects off of the film to give you the object beam. On a transmission hologram, the reference beam and the object beam will interfere with the film on the same side, and when you reconstruct the film, the reference beam will transmit through the film to give you your object beam. The material in the photopolymer will align with the interference pattern caused by the reference and object beams. This will create a diffraction pattern in the material that, when illuminated by the reference beam, will recreate the object beam, which is how you see the hologram. So the setup for the reflection hologram consists of a 10 milliwatt helium neon laser, a spatial filter, and an iris, and then a collimating lens. This produces the collimated reference beam, which passes through the holographic film onto the object. This then reflects off the object and is the reference beam, and these two beams interfere on the holographic film to produce the hologram.
Before making a hologram, it is important to calculate the exposure time. For a reflection hologram, once the saturation limit has been reached, additional exposure time will not decrease the quality of the hologram. Because the recording process of holograms is sensitive to vibrations, we are using a floating optical bench. Also, exposure to incoherent light will cause the film to develop. Therefore, before placing the film in the setup, we turned out the lights. With the film in place, begin the exposure for the calculated exposure time. Before reconstructing the hologram, it is best to develop the film by using sunlight, but you can use any incoherent light source. To reconstruct the hologram, simply put the slide back in the setup.
And then to view your hologram, look through the film as if you were looking at your object. To make a transmission hologram, you need the object beam and the reference beam to interfere on the same side of the hologram, which is why, for the setup of this experiment, we used a beam splitter and moved the object to this side of the film. The only difference between recording a transmission hologram and a reflection hologram is that for a transmission hologram, much more care needs to be taken for calculating the exposure time. To calculate the exposure time, you take the required power density and divide it by the measured power density. To reconstruct your transmission hologram, simply place the slide back in the setup, and then to view your hologram, look through the film as if you were looking at your object. So that we can see the hologram on the camera, we imaged the transmission hologram with a lens onto a piece of paper.
Yeah. Look at him just hanging out there in a piece of glass.